भाषण लांबलं तर पाणी लागेल. नमस्कार मित्रांनो. So the big question is whether English or Marathi. त्यांनी सुरुवात इंग्रजीतून केली, नंतर मराठी झालं, परत सर इंग्रजीत बोलले. So let's have a mix. So first and foremost, of course, all of us are here because of the school. All of us are here because of Atre Sir. And I think that's really something. I think at every point in time, all of us need to ask ourselves, what is it that the school gave us? I mean, school gave us phenomenal things. School gave us life. School gave us so many things, but that's too general. And it is important for all of us to ask this question to ourselves at every point in time when, there are various points in time which are important for us, like today is for me. And I think the big answer there, the very, very specific and big answer is that our school gave us a value system which was different from the value system that prevailed in society in general, especially in the area from which we came. I'm not wanting to deride, not wanting to take down by a notch even the socio-economic political situation that prevailed at that time in our area. All of us are essentially from the same area. Maybe some people came from a little further away, the two people here on stage. But most of us are otherwise within a 10-kilometer, 15-kilometer radius of the school. What existed in our village, the thought process that existed in our villages, the thought processes that existed in our families are so vastly different from what we were taught in school. The essential value system that all of us, the foundation that has brought all of us to this stage in life has all come from our school, and for that I am, and all of you are, eternally indebted to the school. We are all happy and satisfied wherever we are in life, and that is something that could not have come to us from anything other than the school and the value system that the principal and his colleagues imbibed in us so well, without even making a song and dance of it. Without a value education class, for example. I am told now there has to be a value education class in school, but we did not have that. I mean, we had punishment, of course. Possibly better way of getting. I'm only saying. I mean, I'm not an expert on education, but all of us have gained immensely by that value system, because, as I keep on saying in various functions, what is it that a residential school gives us? When the entire education system is talking about competition, when the complete education system in the country, wherever we go, whichever school, whichever college, is talking about being competitive. पहिलं कोण येणार, दुसरं कोण येणार, that type of stuff. किंवा या परीक्षेमध्ये कोण जाणार, stuff like that. Here is a school, so many years back, which is talking about the spirit of collaboration. Now that's something that could not have come to us from anywhere else. That spirit of collaboration, which all of us have, which in some degree, I mean, obviously things change, we go through different things in life, we get different experiences, we have different forces acting upon us. So whatever we gain in school, there is always a little degree of change that happens. Sometimes it increases, sometimes it decreases, doesn't matter. But the basic things that the school taught us, one was the value system, and two was this big thing about collaborating with others. That has been, I think, the hallmark of success for all of us in whichever field that we chose. The other thing that Principal Atre Sir and his colleagues really taught us, and I think that's really important, they said that it's important to have well-rounded personalities and not well-rounded bodies. So that's something that by and large 90% here 90%, 10% would be an exception, but 90% here are reasonably fit, as I can see after so many years. So that's something that the school again taught us, and therefore for all these various things I think we owe everything to the school. So whenever the school says and asks for something short of blood, toil, tears and sweat. The toil, tears and sweat is something that we can always give. That's a Churchill quote from the World War II. So, so that's really about what the school gave us. The other part that Harish wanted me to talk about was about the journey of 36 years. And I really don't know whether this is the forum for that, because journeys of 36 years tend to be long journeys, tend to be sometimes tedious journeys. And if there was one thing that, I mean, various teachers taught us various things, of which I remember Mr. Temkar always, our English teacher, housemaster of Nehru House? No. Not my house, Netaji House. But he was housemaster of the Nehru House. And he always said this: everything has to be short and sweet. Whatever you do in life, in exams, in paper, in wherever, it has to be short and sweet. I cannot possibly go away from the path that has been shown to me by my teachers. Otherwise, I also remember sometimes tedious speeches can get you humming. Humming can come anywhere, and it's a dangerous. Scared. I mean, respect and all is important. I mean, let me not take away from the respect that all of us had for him, but we were essentially scared of him. That's the bottom line. In spite of that, if there was something which went wrong, there was this beautiful thing called humming, because nobody could pinpoint the culprit there. That's one of those things. Otherwise you try to do one thing wrong, and I tell you, I was not really a naughty child. I wasn't. I mean, by nature I wasn't. I think in my family, my sister got to do all the naughty things. She got punished. So by the time I really saw, I decided that, boss, this is the right thing to do. I am not walking that path. But whenever, let's say, I just tried to jump up to touch the standard 4A type of board that used to hang outside, one could rest assured that Mr. Kolhe would be behind you. There was no way that you could get away with anything in school. So, all of us, there was this constant watching that was happening. So, based on all these things, all of us learnt a lot from school. Obviously, we learnt a lot. The library of the school was an amazing library. I must, at this point of time, very fondly remember Mr. Jadhav, the librarian, and the way he kept his books, the way he had almost total control over the library, and very graciously he allowed me to be part of that team to do the stock checking of the books and stuff like that, because in any case I was always there. Had I been given a choice, I would not have walked onto the playground at all. I mean, at all. I did not like it. I really did not like it. I was so happy with the library, I was so happy with the books, but the school did not give us a choice. And I am so thankful to the school for not having given me that choice. If I stand tall today, if I stand erect today, if I stand so well on my feet today, physically, that is, it is primarily because of that whole insistence that you have to get up at 5:30, go to the ground, do your PT, come back, stuff like that, and 4 o'clock again or 4:30 you are back on the ground, which was compulsory. I mean, I always used to think in those days, ki खेळणं कसं compulsory असू शकतो, पण होतं. I mean, so that's the school as it was, and that has obviously had such a great impact on all of us. We are not scared of anything. The big thing about school, again, is that we are not scared of anything. We are not scared of any challenge. We are not scared of facing anything, so long as we think we are doing the right thing. I think that is something that all of us have learned from the school, and that has helped me in the long 36 years journey. It has been this one thing that in the school, if you remember, we had prep 1 hour or 45 minutes at night. 1 hour at night. 1 hour at night, 8 to 9, I think, and or whatever time it was. And there was nothing other than that when you had time to study. Whether you are in 5th standard, whether you are in 8th, whether you are in 10th or 12th, does not matter. Everybody followed the same thing. So there was no big deal about board exams, for example. Now the moment that thing happened, that you are all the same. Of course, you had prelims and then you had free time to study, but that study also never went beyond the stipulated time. Lights out was lights out. So this whole thing that you need not be worried about something, that there is no challenge which is so big that it has to be treated differently from what the rest of the life is all about. I think that's a great lesson that has helped all of us. It has definitely helped me a lot. We never had to worry about saying what we wanted to say in school. Our teachers were always there to listen to us. There was never a point in time where, I mean, I'm sure all of us have been punished for various things at various points of time, but never have we been punished for speaking our mind. I think that's the big thing that again we carry very gracefully in our hearts, that it is this strength that we have imbibed from the school. It is the strength that's more like a collective strength which is shared as a bond between all the alumni of the school who talk to each other, who meet each other, who help each other, who support each other, and it is this great bond of belonging to a very elite institution in a very rural setting, almost like an oasis being created in a desert. At the same time, the oasis having its roots in that complete rural setting, that something like that could be created in that area gives us the courage to try and create anything or dream of creating anything in our lives. I think that's the big fundamental thought that we always have in our mind. जर त्या ठिकाणी ती शाळा अशा पद्धतीची सुरू करता आली आणि चालवता आली, तर मग मी आयुष्यात मला जे वाटेल ते, मला जे योग्य वाटेल ते, मला जे चांगलं वाटेल ते, मला जे स्वप्न बघायचं आहे ते स्वप्न मी बघू शकतो आणि ते स्वप्न साकारही करू शकतो. हे तिथून येतं. When you look back and see what existed there, that's what gives you the strength to dream big and to actually work towards fulfillment of those dreams. So there was Mr. Naik also, our geography teacher. Actually, he was not really a geography teacher, but he was a NCC teacher who was given the additional responsibility of teaching us geography. School was a funny school. So, some of those things, we had a cricket coach who also taught us geography. Captain Bosley. So I'm sure they were not really qualified geography teachers, but they took effort, and and so there was this line that they used to write on the board. I'm sure all of you remember there were various lines written on the blackboard in all the classes. So not failure, but low aim is a crime. Awesome. So not failure, but low aim is a crime. So that's something that came from Mr. Naik's classroom, at least to me. I don't know whether there was somebody else who can claim the original copyright to this. But at least for me, it was one of those things that, now in spite of that, I mean, of course, a lot of us like mathematics because of Kalapure sir. Okay, he was a great teacher, amazing teacher. I mean, I don't know how he reached there and how he taught all of us. It's an amazing phenomenon to happen that a teacher as great as him for a subject like mathematics was there. But the beauty of it is that even teachers who were not so good in the subject that was assigned to them left us with a little love for that subject, a little curiosity about that subject. And that curiosity, that love for the subject, that passion, that wanting to go to the depth of the subject is something that has been so important in this life journey for me, as I am sure it has been for you. The important thing is to have a larger vision in government, in private, in agriculture. We had this amazing program at Kannad where 5 of us spoke about our achievements in 5 different spheres of life. A beautiful program that Mansingh had organized. Harish missed that program. Was his last day or something? Yeah. Last day in Sholapur. So otherwise it would have been 6 people. So 5 of us shared our life stories there, and we talked about our measure of success. The important thing was not that we were successful, but that we were successful by a measure that we had decided. That, I think, is a fundamental difference between us all and a lot of people outside this hall. That we have decided in school, or we have been told by our school to believe in ourselves, to set goals for ourselves, and then to strive to achieve those goals, and then to measure success by our own standards. The fact remains that our standards have been very high. The standards that we set for ourselves are also very high, and therefore, obviously, all of us do succeed in life, and that's this vision part that is so important for all of us as part of our success has actually come from the library also. Books, textbooks are can only take us up to a certain level, because when you read textbooks, you are very focused on the subject matter, that you are looking at the textbook, you are looking at some questions, you are looking at some answers, and you have a complete focus which is about looking at that content and maybe getting that content out in some other form, and that's the end of it. That textbook type of learning does not give us the larger vision, which is so important for us to be better human beings, to be more successful human beings in life. That vision comes from from books, from music, from the arts, from theater, from movies, and all of us had so much of this exposure in school. We had a movie every Saturday, and that's like amazing. I mean, now we go, me and Sunil, we go every Tuesday. I mean, we try to. Sometimes, of course, nowadays, sometimes there are no movies to watch. But the school did not have this problem. The school found movies for us to watch every Saturday. And sometimes they made a mistake and they showed Manoranjan, for example. Yeah, that was an error. I don't know whether that was a deliberate error. I have no idea. But we watched Goodbye, Mr. Chips. An amazing film. I was extremely bored while I watched the film. Extremely bored. I mean, I don't know. At that point of time, as a kid, I thought, "ये क्या दिखा रहा है मेरे को? मला नहीं बघायचं, जरा बोर आहे, कंटाळवाण आहे." But हे सगळं जे अवांतर असतं, ज्याचा आपल्या अभ्यासाशी काही संबंध नसतो, ते सगळं असं कुठेतरी येतं आणि आपल्या आत राहतं आणि त्याचे कनेक्शन्स एस्टॅब्लिश होत जातात. जेव्हा आपण अवांतर बघतो, जे आपल्याला कोणीतरी सांगितलेलं नाही आहे, आपल्याला जबरदस्ती केलेली नाही आहे, असं जेव्हा आपण काही करतो आणि ते या सगळ्या सेक्टर्सशी जोडलेलं आहे, ते थिएटरशी जोडलेलं आहे, आपल्याकडे नाटकं व्हायची, डान्स असायचं, गाणी असायची, स्पोर्ट्स इज अन इम्पॉर्टंट थिंग देअर. या सगळ्या गोष्टींमधून आपलं जे अवांतर गोष्टींची आपल्याला जाणीव सतत होत गेली, त्याच्यामुळे मला असं वाटतं की आपली विजन आपल्या सगळ्यांची मिळून आणि प्रत्येकाची वेगळी अशी एक विजन तयार झाली. And that I think is an amazing difference that we have from the rest of the world. So for us it is really important to be aware of this difference. बऱ्याच वेळा असं वाटतं की आपण लोकांपेक्षा वेगळे आहोत हे नाही दाखवायला पाहिजे. आपण नेहमी सगळ्यांच्या बरोबरचे आहोत असं आपण दाखवतो आणि असं की सगळ्यांमध्ये मिळून मिसळून राहू वगैरे वगैरे आपण बोलतो. But it is also important to know the difference, that in your heart to be aware of this difference, to be aware that you have been trained differently, that you have been exposed to something that a lot of others have not been exposed to, and that is something which has made you a very special person. That awareness in your hearts, that awareness in your minds, I think is extremely crucial when you deal with the rest of the society. It is because of this awareness that we are able to take up leadership roles, not necessarily in politics. Obviously some of us also have leadership roles in politics, and I am sure they are doing a great job there. But all of us, in whatever sphere of life that we are, all of us are able to take a role of the leader because we are aware of the special situation that we all are in. And that special situation is because of this special training that all of us got in school. So be aware of that. That's the one thing that I need to share with you at this point of time. Be aware of this difference. It's not necessary to be to show that, to wear it on your sleeve. That's not necessary. But to be aware is important, and that awareness is what gives us the strength, and therefore it's important not to forget it. A little bit about the journey, maybe a couple of minutes, to summarize the 36 years or 35 plus years in government. The important thing is, for me, the important thing is that I joined the service, that I decided to leave medicine and came into the administrative service. Now there, I think the ability to say that in spite of having chosen a path, I now want to change it and then try and make an attempt at it. I mean, what is so routine, so common in the Western countries is something that is looked down upon in our country, and that's a thought I think that we should, over a period of time, change. That it's never too late to change. Change is an integral part of life, and I have in my office, from the day I joined service, I have two things in my office. One is a portrait of Mahatma Gandhi, and the other is Sane Guruji's Jagala Prema Pave, which was earlier a small thing. I am sure all of you would have gone to government offices. Government offices मध्ये एक टेबल असतं आणि त्या टेबलवरती एक हिरवं कापड असतं आणि त्याच्यावरती एक काच ठेवलेली असते. हां, तर त्या काचेच्या खाली माझ्या ऑफिसमध्ये सुरुवातीपासून हे जगाला प्रेम अर्पावे असं ठेवलेलं असायचं. देन इव्हेंच्युअली ॲट सम पॉईंट ऑफ टाईम सारे पाटील नावाचे एक मला सद्ग्रस्त भेटले. त्यांनी खूप प्रेम केलं माझ्यावर आणि त्यांनी मला ते मोठं करून ते म्हणे इथे का ठेवता. म्हटलं ते माझ्यासाठी आहे ना, ते लोकांसाठी थोडंच आहे. तर म्हणे नाही नाही, ते लोकांनाही कळलं पाहिजे म्हणून त्यांनी ते मोठं करून दिलं आणि ते अजूनही माझ्या ऑफिसमध्ये आहे. So the thing about Mahatma Gandhi, which I think is so important, is that he did not, there are a lot of things that we can criticize about Mahatma Gandhi, a whole lot of things that one can criticize about. But why is he so important in life, in my life or in the life of the nation? Here is a man who was not scared to change his thoughts, his beliefs, his convictions at any point of time. What he believed in 1905 is different from what he believed in 1915, is different from what he believed in 1922, is different from what he did in 1935, and is completely different from his approach to life and the nation in 1945. Now that's an amazing thing for a man to be able to do, man including women of course, to do. That based on the experiences that you have, based on what is happening in the world around you, the vision the ability to look at all these externalities, then to believe in your own conscience, to believe in yourself, and then to change yourself fundamentally, I think is an important attribute that all of us need to learn from Mahatma Gandhi. I have always kept that as the most important thing that I have taken from Mahatma Gandhi, and that is the strength or the ability to change whenever I think I have made a mistake, and all of us make mistakes. If you make a mistake, then the courage to admit that mistake and the ability then to find a new way of going about life is important, and I think that's what I have learned from Mahatma Gandhi, and I think that's the message that I would really like to share with you. The other thing about government that I have felt has been so essential to my smooth passage through government. Government is not easy. Government is difficult. I mean, government is difficult for citizens, but government is also difficult for itself. For people who are within government, it's not easy. There have been some things which made my passage in government smooth. 2-3 things. One was that I always thought that I must read the law wherever I went. The law, the rules, the regulations, the GRs. So I have always taken great effort to read the first 10 days, 15 days, 1 month. Sometimes when I went to sales tax, I had to do a whole MBA finance to understand balance sheet. I did not understand balance sheet. I did not know the whole debit credit business, and I found it very confusing. Really I did. But I landed up in sales tax. I had to do enforcement. I had to look at balance sheets every day. And I said, I need to do something about it. So then to read all that stuff, to imbibe the knowledge which is existing somewhere, and to then process it internally so that you are ready to face whatever challenges the department brings before you. So that's, I think that's something that I took great care, and obviously the training in school of reading helped me immensely for this. The second thing is to decide yes or no as soon as you can. So that's, I think, crucial in government. The first part is still okay. I mean, you can possibly get somebody to explain to you. You will find some Aval Karkun who knows the subject better than you know. Or in sales tax, you can find a joint commissioner who's extremely bright and who will guide you. So the first part is important, but something that you can find alternatives for. The second part is something that any delay in government is sure to lead to a price that has to be paid. So if there is something that needs to be done, it's important to come to a conclusion as soon as possible and say yes or say no and be done with it. It should leave your table as soon as you can, before multiple pressures start coming in, and there always will be. There have always been pressures like this in government. The more you delay, the more these pressures come in, and the more they multiply, and the more problems they create for you. So the idea is to say yes or no as soon as possible and get it out of your system. The last part there is the ability to take responsibility for your decisions. That if I think I have done something right, then I need to stand by that. I need to stand by my system. I need to be a true leader in that sense. And if I am able to do these 3 things, then by and large my system is going to support me. So with possibly these 3 things, and one could of course talk about a few more, but short and sweet is our motto. So I will restrict it to these 3 as my learnings from government service, and the way that these things have really helped me to reach this point, without too many problems, or whichever problems came, I could face them substantially, and therefore life was far more easier for me than it is for many more people. So having said that, I think the bottom line in government, especially in government and possibly in the other spheres also, is the motto of our school, which was Seva Parmo Dharma. So that's, you know, the English version? Service before self. आणि आपण गमतीने काय म्हणायचो? Help before service. So service before self. So Seva Parmo Dharma is something which is, I think, the bottom line. I mean, anything that you want to do in life, unless it comes from this Seva Bhav, unless it comes with the emotion, with the passion, with the commitment and the hard work, sincerity that gets attached to this Seva Bhav, unless that doesn't happen, it is very difficult to do something spectacular in life. So the ability to do anything spectacular comes from this passion, comes from this emotion of saying that I am here to serve. Now, it's easy to say that I am serving, stuff like that, and it is one of those घासून गुळगुळीत झालेला शब्द. But having said that, I think it is still important for us to say that, okay, it's a cliche, but I am not using it as a cliche. I mean it. Whenever I say something, I mean it. And that meaning needs to get conveyed. So whatever I do, whatever I say, if that comes from my heart, then that's, that transparency will show, will come through, and the work will become easier, interpersonal relations will become easier, communication will become easier, and I think those are really the most important things to succeed in life. Unless interpersonal relationships and this collaborative effort becomes part of our day-to-day functioning, it is not possible for us to become better citizens of this nation. To be there as better citizens, to be there as nation builders, to be there as people who care for the nation, who are willing to give that extra, who are willing to take that extra effort for the nation building. And as a generation, I think we missed obviously the independence, and our parents went through those times, and for them nation building was a very important, interesting phenomenon. They were completely committed to that phenomenon. For us, that was not such an important thought process in our worlds. But as we grow up in life and we realize the problems that the nation, and the nation is not necessarily the nation on the larger scale that we are talking about, the nation immediately surrounding us, the 10 people, 15 people, 100 people, 1,000 houses, one village, that's the type of universe which is the representative of the nation that all of us need to care about. And we are, as Pravarites, best equipped to take over these roles. And I wish you all the best in your lives for doing the best that you can to safeguard the principles on which this nation was created. And I thank you, all of you, to have come here at such short notice, in such large numbers. It is indeed overwhelming for me to see all of you after, and some of you I have not met for maybe 30 years, maybe more. Some of you I may not have met after school, it's quite likely. So I'm really, I thank you from my heart for your presence here. I thank Mansingh and Harish for organizing this program, for taking the initiative in reaching out to a large number of people and getting this phenomenal response from all of them. I thank you, sir, for being here and speaking on behalf of the school. The school means a lot to us. As I said earlier, anything, anytime for the school, all of us are always available. And Mr. Dumar, I thank you for having accepted this responsibility of chairing this event. Thank you, friends.